Hey everyone, welcome to another English grammar lesson. Today we're going to be talking about the active and passive voice. So what exactly are active and passive voice? Well, an active sentence is when the subject of that sentence performs the action. And a passive sentence is when the subject of that sentence receives the action. Let's take a look. So here we have two different sentences. The boy kicked the ball, and the ball was kicked by the boy. The first is written in the active voice. The subject of our sentence, the boy, is the one doing the thing, the one performing the action. The boy kicked the ball. The second sentence is written in the passive voice. The subject of this sentence, now the ball, is receiving the action. The ball was kicked by the boy. The person actually doing the thing is listed later, and our subject, the ball, is being acted upon. It is receiving the action. Let's take a look at a second pair of examples. The man ate the sandwich, and the sandwich was eaten by the man. Again, the first sentence is written in the active voice. Our subject, the man, is the one performing the action, the one doing the thing. The man ate the sandwich. And yet again, the second sentence is written in the passive voice. Our subject, now the sandwich, is receiving the action. The sandwich is not actively doing anything. It is being acted upon. It is passive. It is receiving the action of the man. And finally, for good measure, we have the student passed the test, and the test was passed by the student. Once again, the first sentence is written in the active voice. Our subject, the student, is the one performing the action. The student passed the test. And when we look at the second sentence, which, once again, is written in the passive voice, we see that our subject, the test, is receiving the action. The test isn't doing anything. It is being acted upon by the student. The test was passed by the student. Okay, let's practice. You tell me whether each of the following sentences is written in the active voice or the passive voice. The squirrel was chased by the dog. Take a second. What do you think? Active or passive? Answer is passive. Our subject here is the squirrel, right? And the squirrel is not doing any chasing. The squirrel is not performing the central action of this sentence. The dog is. The squirrel was chased by the dog. The dog is the one performing the action. The squirrel is just receiving the action. So, once again, this would be an example of the passive voice. Let's take a look at another one. Susan bought a new car. Okay, so what do you think about this one? Active or passive? Should be active. Good. Our subject is Susan, right? And Susan is the one performing the action. Susan bought the car. Susan is our subject, and that subject is performing the central action of the sentence. So, we have ourselves an active sentence. Two more. Graham listened carefully to the teacher's instruction. Now, this sentence may be a bit longer, a bit more complex than the ones before it, but that doesn't change anything. What is the subject of this sentence? We always start there. Graham, right? That's our subject. And is Graham the one performing the action, or is Graham the one receiving the action? Well, the action is listened, and Graham is the one doing that, right? Graham is the one listening. So even though in the imagination of this sentence, we might see the teacher as the one being in charge here or something, Graham is still our subject. Listened is still our action, and Graham is the one doing that. Our subject is performing the action. We have an active sentence. And finally, midway through dinner, my water glass was refilled. Again, another slightly longer, maybe a bit more complex of a sentence, but the rules stay the same. Take a look and start by finding the subject. Should be my water glass, right? Now find the action. Was refilled. Okay, So did the water glass perform that action? Did the water glass refill something? No. The water glass was refilled, presumably by a waiter or someone, right? Whoever actually refilled the water glass, even though they may not be explicitly listed in the sentence, is the one who performed the action. The subject, my water glass, was acted upon. It received the action, making this a passive sentence. So now that we know the difference between the active and the passive voice, the question becomes, why or when would we choose to use one over the other in our writing? Well, most people will probably tell you to stick to the active voice and to avoid the passive voice. And people will tell you this because they believe that the active voice is simpler, cleaner, more direct, while they consider the passive voice to be more puffed up and wordy and confusing. And like most writing advice, that is true sometimes, but not all the time. One benefit of the passive voice is that it sounds a bit more detached, a bit less intense, maybe more poetic or whimsical. And depending on what you're writing, maybe that's actually what you want. So it really just comes down to the purpose of your writing and what exactly you're trying to express. My advice is to experiment with both, see how they feel, and strike your own balance from there. Cool. Well, whether you came here for a refresher or just now learning this stuff for the first time, I hope this video helped. Be sure to check out the free practice down in the description, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.